As long as you keep the video.
You can basically do nudes on Patreon, can't you?
You can do nudes on Patreon. 100%.
Let's not do that, but you can.
Are you sure? I feel like nudes of you will get me like way more Patreons.
I will only join Patreon if I can get Elliott nudes.
See?
Why does he want my nudes? It's his Patreon.
Yeah, but I'm not willing to get naked for money, but I'm willing to get you naked for money. And on that note, this is the podcast. How are we all doing? This is episode 23 of the Grumpy Gamer Weekend podcast on the something of October, who knows. How are we all doing? We have witchyb. We have a guest this week. Like, for the first time in I don't know how long. No, she's below you. You should know this. She's in the same spot as Taylor.
I feel like it changes and it never does. I just guess directions.
No, it never changes. It's always the same layout. I'm in the bottom right, you're in the top left, and the Taylor is in the bottom below you. Sometimes we have a guest though, and they're in the top right, but today we don't have a Taylor, so this is very confusing. This is almost as bad as a time travel. But witchyb, why don't you introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are and what you do.
I am witchyb. I am a streamer on Twitch and a YouTuber on YouTube. You can find me at witchyb, and if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it is witchybtv.
And what do you do? What do you stream? What's your like? Do you have a niche?
I like Sims and Destiny 2 pretty much.
Fair. Two very, very different games there. You've got like house building and management, and then you've got murder people. And it's also a Blizzard game, but we're not talking about that yet. We're talking about it later. But
it's not. Destiny isn't Blizzard. Well, is it still? Because I know it's on stream now.
It was, and now it's not. It used to be Blizzard.
But I mean, when it comes to the murder part, depending on how you play the Sims.
That is very true. I have seen a lot of Black Widow challenges.
I thought you were going to do a bit about like one's about murdering people and the other one's about like space light magic.
That would have been a really good bit. It's almost like that we don't do this podcast live, and I could definitely re-record it and pretend I made that joke up on the spot, but I'm not going to do that.
No, too late, because I'm going to ruin it.
But yeah, no, I used to enjoy The Sims. I would love to say that I enjoyed Destiny. Destiny is one of those games that broke my heart. I was lied to. I thought it was going to be like Halo again. And then it really wasn't like Halo again. It was a crappy live service game. I say crappy. It was, in my opinion, one of the better live service games. It's just a shame that there was no campaign in the first one. And by the time the second one came out, it finally did have a campaign, but it was still an Activision Blizzard game. It was still full of aggressive monetization. And really, in my honest opinion, it wasn't. I actually enjoyed the first one more than the second one, so I didn't carry on playing it. But yeah, so why don't we jump into what we've all been playing this week? Elliott, what have you been up to? What have you been streaming?
I just this afternoon finished The Last of Us, and I need to issue a retraction.
Yes, I think you do.
last week on the podcast. Wait, have I got any papers or something? I don't have any papers. I got little ones. Wait, let me. There we go.
I saw an image on that paper then, and like the terror in my face. I thought that was...
It's a concept drawing that I sent to Platt for my FMO.
Brilliant. That's not what I saw the first time I saw it.
Oh dear.
It looked very different to me too.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't just me.
I would like to issue a formal apology to the Last of Us as a game, to Naughty Dog, and to their fandom. Last week, I said that I dabbled in the game and I didn't see any of the storyline. And I said that I didn't enjoy the gameplay. I finished The Last of Us this week. I streamed it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And oh my God, what a game.
Is it, or is it not one of the best games of all time?
Yeah, I think it might be.
I told you. I'm sorry.
It's more than a game. It's an experience.
It's more than a game. God. Platinum Trophy Wife is in the comments right now, and she's typing it as I speak. She's going, I told you, you idiot.
No, she is not typing I told you. She's typing, I can't believe I missed your whole playthrough. I think she was there for a bit on Wednesday. But she was like, I need to see you play this game. The VODs are on my channel if you want to see me get loads of feels.
Yeah, man.
And yell at Joel a lot. And to Ellie, and to everyone. I think I did quite a lot of yelling during this playthrough. But
I was there for some of it. There was definitely an amount of yelling. But it's one of those games, isn't it? Where like I have to be honest, that game is definitely one of those magical recipes where I don't think anything particularly in that game is anything special that hasn't been done before, but it's the way that it does it. Like the mechanics of that game are pretty standard. Even though I like the combat, the actual game mechanics are kind of basic. There isn't that much to do, and the game starts off quite slowly. However, I just think it's one of those games where if you're into that universe and you do absolutely get roped in by the story, if you like that kind of thing, and then everything else is kind of secondary. You've got this really amazing story that you get to be a part of, and that's something that video games can do that movies and TV shows can't really do. And I feel like it takes all the best elements of things like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and all of those kind of like morally gray area gritty TV shows and puts it into a video game and goes, here you go, enjoy. And yeah, it's up there as one of my favorite games of all time. So how do you feel about it now that you've finished? How's your what do you give it? Do you do scores? I don't think you do scores.
I don't really do scores. I do a thing of like, definitely buy this game, buy it if it's on sale, and then it's like pick it up if it's free, and then don't bother with it. It's basically my scale of games. This is like just buy it, and play it. If you enjoy story-driven games, the character develops fantastic. Like it does such a good job of kind of giving you these moments of like real gritty emotion, followed by just like moments of awe, and it really roller coasters you.
So a few weeks ago, or was it last week, when I was talking about The Last of Us and you were all like, oh, it's alright, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was talking about in that game there are these certain moments that like as an experience of that game, there are these certain moments that just stick out, and I think I said there were 3. And I guarantee you now, and I know you've just finished it today, but I guarantee you now you could name 2 of those moments. In fact, you could probably name all 3. You could name 3 of those moments right now. You know exactly what moments I'm talking about. For me, there was the one at the beginning, there was the ending, and then there was one sort of 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to say anything because if you haven't played the game,
which if you haven't played it by now,
wait, Witchy, have you not played it?
No.
Also, let's put some footage.
But like, I'm also not going to play it because that's not the kind of games that I don't like the games that are like all story. I'm not into that very much. I like to kill people and things.
What have you done?
I wasn't backwards. I was the right way.
Oh no.
I'm so confused. There we go.
Jesus.
Basically, if you're watching the podcast and you want to play The Last of Us and you want to play it blind and not know what the 3 moments are, mute your audio now until I wave my arms around like a mental person.
I did have a spoiler scene, but I think I may have removed it.
Oh, we don't need spoiler.
I'll overlay
wave my arms. They're still muted, Grumpy. Are you talking about the daughter saving Elliott and the giraffes?
No. Giraffes is a small moment for me. So the first one is obviously the daughter. The second one is Ellie with the machete. And the third one is the end, like right at the end.
Oh, Ellie with the machete was, that was.
Those are like the 3... Like those moments are like, honestly, I think the best moments in any video game.
Wait, we're spoiler free. Here, no, unmute. You're all fine.
Right. Yeah, those 3 moments are like, I think honestly the best moments of any video game ever. Like they are. I'm trying to think of a moment in like The Witcher 3 or a moment in like Halo 2 that was as memorable as any of those 3 moments, and I honestly can't think of anything. And
I feel like God of War has some really good memorable moments. And like God of War, the mechanics of the game and the way it plays is much more my kind of game, and I would definitely put it as like nearly as good as The Last of Us, but The Last of Us just does a way better job of telling a story. Like God of War story was nice. It was nice seeing like Kratos and Boy going on their adventure and stuff. But
I am still backwards. This is so confusing.
Why are you?
So confusing.
Discord is going to be mirrored. Are you looking at Discord?
I am definitely still backwards. I was right, and then I was wrong, and then I was right again.
Is this podcast just you flipping the whole
Basically, time? Yeah. There we go. Now I'm no longer backwards. Continue.
Just like...
Honestly, just one day I will have a setup that's not this crap, but continue. I'm so sorry.
But no, God of War did a brilliant job. I loved that game. It was fantastic. The story was brilliant. But like the thing for me with God of War that gets it close to The Last of Us is like the combat and the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like the way that the weapons handle in that game, like the way that the combat works, the variety of enemies, stuff like that, were all fantastic. But The Last of Us definitely got me more invested in the characters. Joel and Ellie. I feel like I grew with them as the game went on, which 100%. Is like fantastic for a video, like in a movie and stuff like that, because you control the pacing. Yeah, it's easier for you to do that in video games. We talked about this before. comedy and horror are very, very difficult in video games because you need good pacing. You have to be able to build tension of that. And in a video game, especially someone like me who likes to explore everywhere and try and collect as much as possible, it's hard for a video game dev to be like, okay, we're going to get this timing right unless he goes, oh, look, I can see out of this window over here. Like, which is a thing I do in games constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, making the story like that immersive, brilliantly done.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, there's so many parts of that game that in other games would have probably dragged on. There's a part where you are injured and, you know, you have that whole stumbling around and it sort of takes control away from you without taking it away from you. And I just feel like there's definitely parts that could have been improved on with the gameplay. The story, in my opinion, was perfect, but the gameplay could have been improved on. And this is why I'm honestly really excited for the second game, because I feel like if the second game has the same level of story as the first one, but improves the gameplay, then I think we really are looking at like #1 game potential. You know, this could be the best game ever. And I do get what a lot of people are saying, that, you know, the first game was so good that you run the risk of ruining a sequel. But at the same time, well, if the sequel is garbage, then just don't play it. You've still got the first game, you know. So I'd rather risk it and have a go. And I really don't. It's been that long since the first game came out. It's not like they just rushed it out because the first one did well. You know, like, they're obviously doing it for a reason. They have more story to tell, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with it. So, witchyb, what have you been up to this week? Kenny, what games have you been playing?
I have been playing Destiny 2 and The Sims.
Nice
doing the Shadowkeep expansion. And I have this weird thing in Destiny 2 where I like to find all the regional chests. So I've been working really hard on that.
What are they? What are regional chests?
So, like, there's these orange chests that are like hidden, and they have like this little symbol thing that, like, you find it on the map, and like they're hidden, so it's fun. So it's like a hide and go seek, except the other one just stays hiding. But yeah, it's been fun. Shadowkeep, it's been hard because, like, it's not the grind. It's just I haven't had anybody to help me fight because we've all been busy. So I don't know. And other than that, Sims, I made a family. They're dead now.
More heartbreak.
Next time on Game of Thrones Sims Edition. I mean, that
witchyb only plays that way.
Were you doing, like, was that your intention, or was it an accident? How did that happen?
No. Okay. So it started with, it was going to be a single mom and she was going to have 7 kids. But then all of the kids grew up and the mom died, and I didn't want to play with the kids anymore. So I played the Hunger Games and locked them all in different rooms. And Kelly was the one who survived. So now I'm playing with Kelly, and now she's getting married.
Amazing.
This is why on the internet there's like posts for The Sims that are just like, people read them out of context, like, oh my god, what's happening? And they go, oh, Sims tag, that's fine. Like, yeah, I didn't want to play with the kids anymore after their mum died, so I locked them all in rooms and waited until they all died but one. And it's just like,
yeah, exactly.
You did what now?
I feel like this is a sound file we need to grab from this podcast and put somewhere. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the
psycho on podcast.
I mean, you're not the only one, let's be honest. But,
crimes revealed. Think of the clout on Twitter.
I don't know. Think of the drama. Jeez. But yeah, that's kind of the fun of Sims, is you don't really know what's going to happen. And I think this is why it's a really good game to stream and make videos of, because when the random stuff does happen, you can kind of make stories out of it. And there's definitely a lot of playability. I'm just very bored of streaming The Sims. I streamed it every Sunday for, I don't know, like a year. It must have been like a year almost that I streamed that game for every week. And I don't play those games that long, but a game that I do play, I have been playing, is Gears of War 5. Oh my god, what a surprise this game was. I played it off stream, so there's no footage. I'll have to put somebody else's YouTube video or something up. But I decided to play Gears 5. So Ruby and I were playing off stream the other day, and we started off with Destiny, and we were both kind of just like, you know, we both had to start again because I didn't have a character. And we were both just kind of like, yeah, it's all right. We wanted to play something co-op, and I was like, why don't I just do Gears 5? You know, Gears being a really strong franchise on the Xbox back in the day. Gears 1 and 2 were really, really, really good games. If in my honest opinion, I think Gears were probably system sellers. And Gears
3 is amazing.
I didn't think Gears 3 was as good as
Well,
1 or 2.
the multiplayer was fantastic.
I'm not talking about multiplayer. I'm talking about single player. Like, sure, multiplayer varies between titles,
I
but
just
the actual
want to defend
campaigns.
Gears 3. I had so much fun on that game.
We'll just have to agree to disagree on that one. But either way,
Ooh.
I feel like the Gears franchise was on a steady decline, and a lot of people tout Gears 4 as being the worst one of the series. And I wasn't expecting much from Gears 5, and we loaded it up and we started playing, and 4 hours later, we were like, I want to play more, but I need to go to bed. So I'm really impressed with it. I think it's stunning graphics. The graphics are stunning in it. Obviously, you know, I don't really care as much about the graphics, but I do appreciate when they're good. But it looks amazing. It ran really well. I did drip. I really can't speak today. I don't know what is wrong with me. I have no excuse because I'm not at work or anything. But it didn't drop below 60 frames per second the whole time. We did have a little bit of a problem getting it going. And I think it might be because Ruby was playing on Microsoft and I was playing on Steam, but we managed to get it going. And then I think we had like maybe one crash at the start and then it was fine the whole time. But yeah, it was just like jumping back into the old Gears of War games. It was very, very, very much a co-op experience. You have the same sort of things where you go and, you know, choose left or right, blah, blah, blah. But it makes you stick together rather than how it used to, where one of you'd go left and one of you go right. There was one part where we got split up, but that was very, very brief. But it was really fun. And then it comes to this open world almost part where you get given a skiff and you can just drive around places and kind of do it in what order that you want. And I'm going to be honest, I appreciate it. Again, because the map looks stunning and it's nice to be able to drive around on your skiff, but I really don't see the point because I'm kind of like, well, up until this point, it was definitely a very linear experience with, you know, your set pieces, you move on to your next set piece and so on and so on. And then when it opens up, I'm like, well, we're still just doing set pieces, but now I can just choose what order I want to do them. I don't really see the point, but it didn't detract from the game at all. It was still very, very fun. But I was pleasantly surprised from an American AAA game, because you know how I feel about modern American AAA games for the most part. For an American AAA game, it was fun to just get into a game, play it, and have fun with a friend. And there was no, from what I could see, there was no like, you know, microtransactions like there is in Assassin's Creed. There may be for the multiplayer, but I'm not playing that yet, so who knows. But the actual campaign feels like a proper and complete campaign, and it has a storyline and everything. And I was just happy. I was having a really, really great old time. And honestly, I think it was a surprise. It was a surprise to actually enjoy an American AAA game. So I'm really happy about that. But I've been doing that. We played some Dead by Daylight yesterday, Elliott and I, because we wanted to play Code Vein. And oh boy, what a disappointment.
It was a bit of a, like, we probably could have done more research.
Yeah.
Other than we'd seen a lot of tweets that were like, oh, it's Dark Souls, but it's co-op and it's this. And
No.
then,
The actual Steam store page, the first thing it says is, this is a co-op experience. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, it's literally there. I can't load up Steam right now because of the Discord call, but it's literally like the first line of the Steam description is, this is a co-op experience. And I'm like, it's not though. This is what we thought. We thought this was going to be like a full co-op type of game. And it isn't. It's just the same as all the other Souls, like where you can drop in and help each other. So we started playing and we managed to get into the same game as each other, but Elliott joined my game, so Elliott couldn't loot anything. And also...
open doors.
Yeah, or open doors, or progress. And if I killed a boss, Elliott had to then leave my game, go back and kill the same boss, otherwise he wouldn't be able to progress. And I'm like... Honestly, like, don't get me wrong, right? From what I played, from the hour or whatever that we played of that game, the character creation is amazing for, you know, that you're not paying for anything. You just get to make your character. I made Sephiroth, and what did you make, Elliott?
I made when Ryan Reynolds did Deadpool playing Bob Ross.
Yeah, so you were Deadpool,
we went
Bob Ross.
A very different wait, are we still on the scene where it can be up here? Because you could put them side by side. But
I could. I have more time to edit tomorrow, so let's do it. It's happening.
But yeah, so we decided that because we were going to co-stream it and have a multi-stream up, that we would have a character creation competition.
Yeah,
and we'd get everyone to vote on whose character was best. So we never had the vote.
We both forgot.
We got distracted. Well, it was a bit of a faff trying to get the multiplayer to work. You can set a password, but to join the game, you have to set your game's password as the same password.
Yeah, it was very odd, but we finally
it was
managed to
very
do
weird.
it, and then it wasn't what either of us were expecting. I was a little bit disappointed because we were both looking forward to that. You as like a veteran now of the Dark Souls franchise or the
I've played
genre.
I've played so many FromSoft games.
Yeah, me
It's
as somebody
actually
who's
terrifying.
barely played any, but I do enjoy them. So I was really looking forward to it, and it's a shame that it's not true co-op. I mean, I still think I'll probably play through it solo, but it's just a bit of a shame. I think I'd rather go back to Bloodborne or something like that. I don't know.
I
But
mean,
yeah, we tried.
I will probably be playing it through. Well, I will definitely play it through at some point because I've got it now. Why not?
Yeah,
I will basically, because Bloodborne so far is probably the easiest to settle into FromSoft game.
Yeah.
I think Sekiro is better, but Sekiro is a lot more deeper in the combat and stuff.
yeah.
And I think if I hadn't played Bloodborne before Sekiro, I would have really, really struggled with it.
Fair.
So like at the moment, I would say Bloodborne's the best one to go into. It's the easiest one to pick up and just go.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1's quite like it's a bit buggy. It can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Like Bloodborne was the one that I really enjoyed playing it through, and it was the first one I played from start to finish, and then it basically pushed me to play the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, Discord's having a
little flickery, boys.
very fun time as ever. Yeah, no, I have played a little bit of Bloodborne. I've owned it forever. And I played a little bit of Dark Souls 1. I will get around to them eventually because they're very good games for stream, but it's one of those things where it's like they're a time investment, and at the moment I don't have it, and if I did have it, I'd probably play something like Final Fantasy or Persona or something else, you know. Like I've had other games on the list for a lot longer. But yeah, unless anyone else has got anything else that they've been playing,
well, back to like very quickly with the Code Vein. I don't want anyone to think we're shitting on it. It was a really good game. It handled really well. I
again, for what very little we played of it, I didn't think it was bad at all. I just, again, I don't want to say it was missold, but the first phrase on the Steam page is "This is a co-op experience."
Yeah, literally,
it's not a co-op experience.
Together,
it's
team
not.
up with an AI partner or a friend in co-op multiplayer.
Yeah, see, that's not what it is. It's drop in and help out, and that for me is not the same as co-op. You know, like in the same way that Dark Souls is drop in and help out, it's not a proper co-op. I was hoping that we could join up at a party, play through the whole game together from start to finish, and that would have been great. It wasn't that, unfortunately. But we even said, though, didn't we, that the enemies were, I don't know if it was because it was the very first area or whatever, but the enemies didn't feel like they were scaled for co-op either, because they were going down so easily.
We were eating through them.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I was using a heavy weapon, and I was like really swinging at them, and because there was you, an AI, and me, most of the time I could just get behind stuff and just basically wail on them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a shame.
But no, it was really interesting. The art style was great. The level designs look good. You were saying yesterday that you've heard that the levels designs are a bit samey, but I mean the enemy designs were cool and the combat handled really, really well. I've heard
from reviews that the level design is a bit like, it's just not impressive. Whereas in all of the other, you know, Souls-like genre, pretty much, they have these big, grand locations that you remember. Whereas in this game, most of the locations, bar one, were forgettable. And the only one that wasn't forgettable was one that was basically I don't want to say it copied, but it was very similar to a Dark Souls game. So, yeah, I think, again, I would like to play through it. Some of the moves that we were using were quite interesting. They were very over-the-top anime-style moves, which was really cool. I enjoyed that. One thing that did annoy me, and I think it annoyed you as well, was that you spend this entire time making your character. It lets you go so in depth onto how you make the character, and then the first thing it does is chuck a load of armor and stuff over your character. So, like, like me, for example, I made my character look as close to Sephiroth as possible, and then it was like, ha ha ha, now you have this armor on. I'm like, now I look nothing like Sephiroth. Like, good job, game. But yeah,
the only thing I remember you complaining about, Grumpy, was that the jacket didn't have sleeves.
Yeah, you got a jacket without sleeves. You were very mad.
Yeah, there was one part where we got this armor piece and he just like wore it on the shoulder with like, and I hate when people do that. It's a pet peeve of mine. You know, people wear like a jacket. Like, this is gonna sound so weird, but like when a woman does it, I get it, right? Especially if she's wearing like a man's jacket because it's too big. But you know, when a guy puts a jacket over himself but doesn't put his arms in the sleeves, it just triggers me. Like, I'm just wear it properly.
At first, I thought you were talking about a vest. because I wasn't looking at the screen, and I was like, "It's called a vest, Grumpy. Like, what's wrong with you?"
No, he had whenever I ran, his
I
like
love-
sleeves were just like trailing behind him like some douche, and I was like, why are you doing that? Like,
That's a little Naruto.
I mean, I was gonna say, have you never played a JRPG before? It's everywhere.
I have played several JRPGs and I've never seen that.
That
Like,
is the
You've never
style.
seen it?
No.
It definitely happens in Persona 5. I'm pretty sure it happens in at least one Final Fantasy game.
No, Final Fantasy X, Auron has one arm, obviously, but that's because his arm's broken. Like, I will allow that.
His arm is not broken.
Yes, it's in a sling. What are you talking about?
No. It's in the front of his thing. And then when he fights, he brings it out and he wields a sword with it.
Yeah,
He
well,
does that
alright.
in the sleeve,
His arm is tired. Whatever. Like, that's what I'm saying. His arm is in a sling for some reason. Okay.
not
What
a
I'm
sling.
saying is, his arm is clearly tired from lifting that massive sword.
It's like in his shirt.
I can accept that. But he has one sleeve on at least. But no, but like, it's just.
Oh no,
silly.
I've made mistakes.
Can we not get naked for one episode, please?
I'm
Just
not getting
one.
naked.
Just
My
one
arm was
episode.
stuck.
My God.
Well,
But
if
yeah,
I would have
that's.
known it was that kind of party.
Well, check out Patreon. No, not yet. It's a joke. It's a joke. So we got some big topics today. Well, we have one particularly big topic today. I think anybody who's watching the podcast can probably guess what it is, and we're going to talk about it because I think it's important. Oh, everybody knows, and I'm not going to shy away from this one. I have a lot to say about this one.
I'm so prepared for you to just like remember that episode like weeks and weeks ago where I was just like, okay, but like realistically, you should probably say it like this way. Because then it's like your opinion, this is going to be an episode where I'm just like, just go.
No, Blizzard can go fuck themselves. That's how we're going to start
go.
this topic, right? No, seriously. So,
Too
shocking for YouTube. We're 26 minutes in. I'm allowed to.
Oh, we're fine then. Fuck that.
Yeah, we're fine, honestly. But no, so if you haven't been keeping up with the news, I'm going to try and be as neutral as possible on this topic. You guys who follow me probably know that I've fallen out of love with Blizzard over the last couple of years, mainly because of how their monetization has been and how they clearly don't care about their staff nor their customers anymore. And you guys know I don't like this. This is exactly what I stand against. One of the reasons why I stand against loot boxes is because of how harmful they are, not necessarily because it's making money. And I have no problem with companies making money. It's how they do it. And so I'm going to try and be as neutral as possible. But if you haven't heard the news, I don't know what rock you are living under. But recently, Blizzard, who I think they were just about getting some goodwill back with the community after Classic launched. And now that's gone down the toilet. They're back to... I honestly think Blizzard have taken the mantle away from EA at this point. I think they were like... Everyone was having to go EA and Blizzard were like... I think we can do better. Like, I think we can do worse than them. But...
my beer.
Yeah, literally. So... There was an incident. A pro Hearthstone player by the name of Blitzchung was on a live stream. And on this live stream, he said some stuff which was fairly political. He said, if I can quote it, if I can remember off the top of my head, because I have none of the articles open, but he said freedom to Hong Kong, I believe, which at the moment, and bearing in mind, I am not an expert on Chinese politics. I am not an expert on any politics anywhere. I'm not really a political person. But this is regarding video games, so we're talking about it. But at the moment, I believe China has a little bit of a problem with people who are very pro-democracy and people who are very anti-democracy. This is what I can tell. And I think a lot of people at the moment are very divided in that country, and this is leading to the government doing a lot of stuff. And we've seen this for a while now. We've seen this as far back as a game called... I streamed it. I played it twice. It was from a Taiwanese developer. What's it called? It was a horror game with creepy dolls in it. Devotion. So a game called Devotion, which was made by the same people who made Detention. And that game got pulled from Steam and it is still not available for sale. And that game, if you weren't around for the podcast, we talked about that game was pulled because somebody found a reference to a meme that shows a likeness between the Chinese president and Winnie the Pooh. And I know that sounds ridiculous. It sounds hilarious, but apparently in China, any form of ridiculing any sort of world leaders is just not allowed. And so there was this meme that circulated the internet which showed Barack Obama and the Chinese president, and they both looked like Tigger and Winnie the Pooh, respectively. Funny, right? It's a joke. In the Western world, everybody would be like, so what? Who gives a shit? It's a joke. It's a meme. Apparently in China, it's a different story. And this led to this game Devotion being pulled from Steam, and it actually led to a development studio being shut down as well. This is China at the moment, and whether you agree with it or disagree with it, I don't really care. I'm going to be honest. I'm not into the politics of this. Like, you can have whatever political opinion you want, and you know, at the end of the day, this is another country. We can all sit here and go, "Ha, that's stupid," but this is how their country works. However, this has developed even further to the point of where now American developers, who we've been saying for ages, and I've been saying this for a long time, that Blizzard have been trying to break into the Chinese market. It seems like certain American developers are now bowing to China. Not only are they, you know, allowing this to happen, but they are almost facilitating it. And so when Blitzchung came out and said freedom to Hong Kong, again, I'm paraphrasing, Blizzard
He said, liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our times.
There we go, liberate Hong Kong. So same thing, essentially. Blizzard not only removed him from the tournament, but they also took away his prize money that he had won up to that point. A little bit harsh, in my opinion. Elliott, what do you think about that? Do you think Blizzard are justified? Do you think they have the right to do that?
I mean, it comes down to I mean, if it was an American on American soil, I'm pretty sure this would be a real, because obviously they have the First Amendment, they have freedom of speech that is constitutionally protected. Admittedly, it doesn't protect you against governments; it protects you against no, it doesn't protect you against companies; it protects you against governments.
Yeah,
but you would get like a real uprising of people being like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! He just said a thing."
Yeah,
which kind of, that's exactly it. Blizzard could have come out and said like, "Look, we don't endorse this message," and they could have renounced what he said, which makes them look real shady. I mean, they haven't exactly come out looking clean.
No.
But it would have been better than them being like, "Yeah, we're going to strip his prize money. He's banned for a year from playing pro in Hearthstone." They really kind of they dropped all the bricks they could on him that they could.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're basically saying like, we're not picking a side, but
it's clear
you can't be that side.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to be honest. I feel like at the end of the day, Blizzard as a company can do what they want. They can ban anybody from their tournament. They can kind of do whatever they want. And I will stand by that. However, it's the reason why they're doing it. And for Blizzard, everything they do, if we go back to Diablo Immortal as an example, when we went back to Diablo Immortal, they were releasing a mobile game and everyone was kicking off, but a lot of people were saying, "Why are you getting so angry because they're making a mobile game?" It wasn't because they were making a mobile game, it was why they were making a mobile game. And this is usually the case with Blizzard. People get angry not necessarily by what they're doing, but why they're doing it. And again, we've said this one even the way back to Diablo Immortal, which was a year ago at last BlizzCon. They're doing this because that is what works in China. We know China is a massive mobile gaming market. They're obviously trying to break into China, and everyone's like, "No, tinfoil hats, conspiracy theories, blah, blah, blah." It's so obvious now. It is so obvious now that Blizzard cares more about the Chinese market than they do the Western market. And here's the thing. Again, that's their prerogative. They're a company who want to make money. They can make money however they like, really, as long as they are within the laws. But it's the whole middle finger to the Western audience. It's Blizzard saying, "We don't really care about you anymore. We're going to shut down the Western games and we're going to open more Eastern games. We're going to start, cancelling support for games like Hearthstone and HOTS, but then we're going to go and make Diablo Immortal for, again, a different market." It seems to be with Blizzard, they just can't do the right thing. They have to do the fully worst thing. It's like they can't find a good middle ground. They can't make a game for our Western audience and make a game for the Eastern audience. They have to go 100% either way. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like they've massively overreached in this scenario. I think again, they can do what they want.
Committed too hard to it.
Yeah, 100%.
They really steered into this being like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you can't do that," and they overshot the reaction.
Yeah, 100%.
But all it's done is it's gone Streisand effect, because now there's people. BlizzCon have released a statement saying that if you are cosplaying Winnie the Pooh and you go to BlizzCon, you are not allowed in. But then responses from that have been people cancelling their accounts. Twitter is full of people at the moment being like, "Well, to cancel my account, I have to give them my ID, which I'm not happy to do."
Let's delve into that, because
they've removed authenticators.
Essentially, what happened is a lot of people went to try and remove their account in protest, delete their account. And people were reporting that they couldn't. It said there has been an error. I think it said you have tried too many times. You cannot delete your account at this time. And a lot of people were like, "Hang on a minute." And so then for further investigation, it seemed like people were being asked to provide government ID, essentially to be able to delete their own accounts.
Which, to be fair, is an old Blizzard. So I lost my original key for my World of Warcraft original when I used to play. And I basically had to ring up their customer service and be like, oh, I've lost my key. This was before authenticators were a thing. I was like, I've got no way of authenticating myself. What can I do? And they said, if you email us a picture of your driving license, it's basically just to go, here's the name that's on the account. Here's the name that's on the driving license. So it's not a new thing.
Which I feel like isn't acceptable anymore, though. I feel like you shouldn't be asked to hand over government ID over the internet. Not for a video game. If it's for something like, I don't know, buying a passport, then sure. But like for a video game company to ask for your official ID is a bit too much.
The strangest thing with it is because I recently had to basically do some identity proofing stuff online, and there are legitimate third-party companies who that is what they do. Like the government has checked them out and they're legit, and they make sure that they're following like all the practices they need to follow. But you provide your ID to them, and then they go to the company and they can go like, oh no, this is the guy that like he's saying that he is.
Yeah.
So there is that system in place for doing it through companies and not going like, oh yeah, Blizzard, that's fine. Here's my driving license number or my national insurance or whatever.
Yeah.
Which seems really weird that Blizzard are like, okay, this is the proof that we need for cancelling your account. Like,
I mean, on the one hand, it's like anything. I feel like there's probably been a little bit of hearsay and rumor to this because there always is when there's a big scandal. But I feel like it's probably just an old system they've got in place to protect from somebody logging into your account and deleting it, you know? And that's fine. And I feel like probably a lot of people are deleting their account out of protest, which is maybe, in my honest opinion, I mean, do what you want, it's your account, right? But it is, at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, deleting your account only really affects you because if you want to play those games again later on, you kind of
you got to rebuy them.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, Blair, are you a Blizzard person? Do you play Blizzard games at all? I know you played Destiny, which used to be a Blizzard game, but
I played Destiny. I want to say, isn't Overwatch Blizzard too? Yeah, I played them, but other than that, like, I don't know. I'm still pretty new into video games. I've only been playing for a couple of years since me and Bad Rob started dating. But like, I don't know. I find it really weird for them to ask me for my ID to cancel an account.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe that's because I'm American and I'm like, I don't trust the government kind of stuff.
Oh, don't worry. That's not just an American thing.
Trump's coming to take my guns.
Well, like, so I've been playing, and I think Elliott's the same. I've been playing Blizzard games now for coming up to sort of like 15 years. So a lot of these practices
are in vanilla. So.
Yeah, I played at the start of TBC. So it's something, again, a lot of these practices are just really old, outdated stuff. You know, the company's been going for a long time. But I think also Elliott will agree with me that like Blizzard used to be one of the best PC developers in the market, if not possibly the best. And it had an amazing community. It had an amazing team behind it. It had an amazing ethos. And just, it's almost like, I'm right again, I know, but I've said this before, Blizzard died a long time ago, and people are just figuring it out. Like, I think a lot of people figured it out last year with Diablo Immortal, a lot of people are figuring it out now, but Blizzard is dead. And I feel bad saying this because there are a lot of, employees at that company, and to be fair to the story, a lot of people really don't agree with the decision. We've had people walk out of the company recently. We've had other Hearthstone pro players step down. We've had people at Blizzard actually deface the statue. I say deface. There is a statue of an orc outside Blizzard HQ, and around it in a circle it has a load of Blizzard values. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but one of those values is something like it's not freedom of speech, but it's something like everybody's voice is heard or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was that,
Yeah. And employees have literally gone around with pieces of paper and taped them over, some of them, because they're like, well, clearly the company doesn't believe in these anymore. But I've said it before, Blizzard is dead. It has died a long time ago. It's not the same company that made World of Warcraft. It's not even the same company that made Hearthstone. I really don't think it is. I think Blizzard had gone, like, after that. It's so hard to say it, but I feel like as soon as Activision and Blizzard merged, then they were done. You know, they were donezo. It was just been a long, slow death. And I think it's very telling that a lot of the Blizzard core key members of staff have left over the years, you know? And it's a shame. It's a real shame. As much as it pains me to say it, I think they're done. And I don't think they're going to claw back from this. I don't think any amount of PR or anything is going to bring them back. And I think maybe this is why they're pushing so hard into the Chinese market, because I think they probably predicted all of this. I think they predicted that the fan base was going to turn on them one day or the other, because of it's so clear they put profit before everything else now. You know, they're putting profit in China before their Hearthstone pro players, basically freedom of speech. And this is something, as you were saying before, witchyb, this is a very American principle, isn't it? Freedom of speech. I am allowed to have an opinion. That is a very American principle.
It's you have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of the repercussions from what you say. So like I can go and say whatever I want, but you know, he's on the, I guess not the negative side, but the other voice. Like he said what he said, knowing that it was controversial and could have repercussions.
Yeah.
And he said what he said. It has repercussions, whether they're good or bad. Yeah. So you have the freedom to say what you want to say, but you don't have the freedom from how other people have their opinions of it and what happens after you say that.
Absolutely. And another thing, though, which is very American, is democracy, right? Democracy. You guys love it. I feel like you guys, I was about to say you guys invented it, but it clearly was the Greeks. Anyway, it's very much an American principle, right? And this is another reason why I think a lot of people are very angry at the moment, is because it's almost like the American Blizzard are now taking more of a Chinese approach. And again, not to get into the politics of it, because I'm not a political person, but I feel like a lot of people are very angry because it's like, hang on a minute, like we in the West stand for democracy, yet you clearly don't anymore. You now almost seem to be more on the side of China, which at the moment isn't a democratic state, as from what I can see, or it's at least under threat from not being democratic anymore. And this is the whole point. The people that are protesting in China are protesting for democracy. So you would think, logically, that a Western company like Blizzard would be more on the side of democracy and would have at least gone, hey, you can't say that, but we're not going to absolutely pummel you into the ground for saying it, which is what they did. Yeah. It's almost like the punishment they gave out was to appease China, not to, you know, more than anything else. It was almost like they didn't care about him. They only cared about the Chinese government opinion almost. And this is what really I think is frustrating a lot of people. And, you know, we're sat here now being able to talk about it because we are on YouTube, which is, I say this, you watch this be the video that gets me banned, but we're on YouTube, which is a Western platform. So we're allowed to talk about this openly and freely. But here's the thing, if we were to be sat in China right now and we were having this conversation, it would be shut down. You know, you're not allowed to talk about it. So it's a really dicey situation. And I feel like Blizzard could have handled it so differently. But again, they went the worst. They did the worst thing they could have done. And yeah, it's a shame because you've got, again, developers working at Blizzard who are absolutely talented, who don't believe this way, but they're just as much of a victim of this company as anybody else is. And I feel like all these people deleting their accounts, it's going to hurt the company. And we know that Blizzard have just laid off 10% of their staff not that long ago, even though they were making record amounts of money. Hey ho. But again, when companies like this start to lose favor and they start to lose money, what's the first thing they do is they go and lay off more staff. And it's such a shame. And I really hope they don't do it again. But honestly,
maybe it's just a real big brain move from Blizzard because they fired all their community managers. And then so now what they're doing is they're just alienating all their community. So they don't need managers for them.
Yeah, maybe it's actually 1,000 IQ plays.
You don't have to like upkeep your servers anymore because you don't have anyone playing your games.
It's like saying if you get rid of all your customers, you don't have to make products anymore.
The
there you
true
go.
Money saver.
I get it now. I get it. Oh, silly me. I take it back.
They're just too smart for us. That's what
Blizzard,
it is.
Cleverest company on the internet. But no, I am really saddened again, but I'm not surprised. You know, none of this surprises me. I wasn't shocked. I think a lot of people are shocked. And I hate to say it, but I've been arguing with the Blizzard community now for years. I've been arguing with people since before BFA came out. I was saying this company is awful. It's gone. It's dead. BFA is going to be crap. And guess what? BFA was crap. And people were like, oh, how did you know? It's because I'm not an idiot, you know, like I've seen the devolution of that company. And I think a lot of people are only just realizing it now. And I'm not trying to make this all about like, haha, I knew first. I'm trying to say like, I get it, right? I get it. You love Blizzard. You love their games. You're invested because you spent loads of time and money in their games. But you now need to now know that this company doesn't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about their customers. They don't give a shit about their staff. So why the hell should we give a shit about them? And I'm honestly to the point now where I don't really boycott companies, and I don't really sort of, just because I really dislike a company, if they make a good game, I'll still buy it. But I'm at the fence now where I'm like, I don't think I want to support Blizzard anymore. I'm sorry, I don't. The only thing that would keep me supporting it is the thought of that the developers who are making the games are the ones that yet again are going to lose out for this shitty decision. But I just don't think I can. I don't think I can support this company anymore. I think I'm going to have to go elsewhere for my PC games. And yeah, sucks. I think this is really going to affect the next Call of Duty launch, honestly. I would be very surprised if it doesn't. But Blizzard, good job. Good job, Blizzard. Has anyone else got anything else to say about this awful, awful company?
I'm just glad in the end of it all, Blitzchung kind of got sorted out. Gods Unchained, another deck building card game, basically tweeted out pretty much saying what Blizzard did was ridiculous. They're going to pay him his lost winnings from the Hearthstone tournament, and they're also gonna put him into a $500,000 tournament.
Let's actually talk about that, because that's a very good point. There's been two things that have happened since this news broke. There was one that you've just said, and then also Epic, or a member of Epic, I forget who, I think it's the CEO of Epic, came out and said, "Oh, if that was Epic, that would have never have happened. If that was, I think he said, if that was a Fortnite player, that would have happened." I'm gonna be honest. I think these companies are just trying to ride the hype. They're trying to ride the news and be like, hey, look how good we are.
I mean, yeah, obviously they're trying to ride that. Like, that's all anything is nowadays.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like comparing yourself to a piece of shit, it doesn't make you, you know what I mean? It doesn't, like, come on, anybody's better than Blizzard at this point. I mean, the only company I think maybe that isn't better than Blizzard would be EA and maybe G2A. So, like,
I saw a meme this morning of someone. It was basically like EA being like, we are the worst games company. We're going to microtransaction everything, and we're going to drain you for every dollar. And then basically just Blizzard taking a torch for them and like, we're going to do all of that and hate human rights. And it's just like, whoa.
Have you seen all of the May memes now as well? A lot of people have been taking.
Oh my God,
May is the voice for Hong Kong. She is a Chinese character.
She's a Chinese character in and he said Hearthstone then. She's a Chinese character in Overwatch, and a lot of people have been making memes about her because as I think it was Yong Ye maybe who said it, like, what are Blizzard gonna do? Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna silence their own character?
There's plenty of them. I've seen someone take cards from Hearthstone. They got 4 cards that are like basically tanks, and then one dude and stood him in front of the tanks, which is another anti-China meme.
Yeah,
like
which one. By the way, can I just point out, when you said anti-China meme, there are a lot of people in China who also like don't like this shit. You know, there's a lot of people in China who are sort of not happy with how China's being run. Like, it's not as always, whenever we talk about a divided topic like this, don't go out and harass anybody. Don't go out and give anybody shit. Like 99% of the people are the ones that, you know, aren't making this decision. These decisions are being made by like 1 or 2 people at the top. So don't give shit to any developers. Don't give shit to Blizzard. Don't give shit to any Chinese people. Just don't do it. All right. We don't advocate that shit. But at the same time, like,
if you want to make the funny memes, then send them.
Memes are a fantastic form of protest because they don't harm anybody. Which is why, in my opinion, this whole Winnie the Pooh meme, like the thing that the Chinese government should have done was have gone, haha, how funny, and moved on. You know, because all they've done is damage their own reputation. Like, there's nothing worse. You know, when somebody makes a joke at you and you punch them in the face, it's the worst thing that you can do, because now everybody thinks you're the bad guy.
I mean, it's leaking into other shit. Like, the NBA at the moment, I've got people, the NBA basically told a load of their casters not to talk about any of the Hong Kong stuff because they don't want to lose the Chinese market.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, there's a lot of Tencent.
South Park released an episode literally taking the mick out of China, censoring stuff. So China deleted South Park from China.
Yeah, you can't watch South Park in China now.
There is no record of it.
This is what I'm saying, though. Like, you make yourself look way worse when people accuse you of being oppressive and then you go and oppress them.
Well, I mean, not Japan. Russia did the same thing kind of back in the day, where Putin made it illegal to make memes of him, and now there's a meme of Putin riding around shirtless on a bear. So I mean, it
This is what I'm
makes
saying.
people want to make fun of it.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
The Streisand effect. I love the Streisand effect. If you go to the internet and go, no one talk about this thing, it's suddenly everywhere.
Yeah, it
100%.
blows up.
And we've talked about this before on the podcast. A lot of big AAA video game developers these days want to control the message, and there is no worse way to control the message than trying too hard to control the message. Because if you try that hard to control the message, the internet goes wild. And this is what's happening here. I don't know. It's one of those things. At the moment, we're talking about it right now, and we're allowed to say whatever we want, and this is partly because I don't have and again, I'm going to try to be fair to these companies here. I don't have any ties to China. I don't have any money tied to China. And obviously, I was just about to say Tencent, which is a very large Chinese company, has shares all over the Western market. And when you're a company and you have shareholders, you kind of have to keep your shareholders happy. And if some of those shareholders are in China, you don't want to piss them off. But at the same time, I feel like this all just stems back to Blizzard not giving a shit about anybody apart from people with money. And I've said this time and time again. If you're not pumping tons of money into Blizzard as a company, they couldn't care any less about you. And it's so obvious now. It's so clearly obvious. This whole meme, going back to the memes about do you not have phones? And again, that was not that guy's fault. He was just doing his goddamn job. But the reason why this company's like, wait, no, we're making a mobile game. You best now play mobile games. It was more about why they did it, and I said this when they announced it. It was because the market's massive in China. But yeah, China, I hope you sort your shit out. Blizzard, you've got no hope. In a more positive news, just to bring it back to something a little bit less political, I guess. Steam is coming out with more features. It's almost like now that Epic is gaining more traction and support, Steam are suddenly coming out with features for the first time in goddamn years. Steam are bringing out a new feature. I think it's coming out into beta first, but they're bringing out a new feature that will essentially turn local co-op games into online multiplayer games. Do you want to talk about it, Elliott? Do you want to explain how it works?
So there's already a system that works very similarly called Parsec. I have a friend who is a game dev, and he's looking at introducing it into a game that he recently made. It's called Brunch Club. Definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. Just plug it. Why not?
Why not? Plug away.
But basically, the way Parsec works is it's listed as like a VPN service, but it's kind of not. What it does is it tells the game that you are sat. So if we wanted to play a game together, it's local multiplayer only. It tells the game that you're sat next to me, rather than you're sat at your PC pressing buttons on a controller.
Yeah.
And basically, Steam are just going to bring it in, so that's part of Steam. It's called Remote Play Together, and it basically just makes games like Overcooked or like any other local multiplayer games that are out there that haven't put online multiplayer in. It means that you can play it without sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
I'm kind of for it. I think there's moments where it's not ideal, but the way that you've always said it, more choice is always better.
100%. 100%. So, I'd rather have a choice and then not use it than want it and not be able to use it. But the way that, from my understanding of what we've seen, and again, this feature's not out yet, so this could be subject to change, but the way from my understanding of it, it's essentially going to stream your screen to your other person and vice versa. So the game thinks that you are both on the same machine, but you're obviously not. And I mean, in the modern day of gaming where, I'm in two minds about this one, because in this modern day of gaming where every game now is online all the time, which we've said is a good and bad thing, I love local co-op games. And there are certain local co-op games that if you don't have anybody in your actual house with you to play it, you wouldn't be able to play it. Overcooked is a really good example of that. And so while I don't think a lot of games are going to be really optimized for it, I think it's a nice option to have. And especially considering that now you can, think about it logically, right? What's the difference between being sat next to each other at the same PC or being sat on a Discord call on two different PCs? Realistically, it's getting to the point now. This is like physics arguments, isn't it? It's getting to the point of where it's like philosophically, I can't say that. Like philosophically,
how's
what's
that English
the difference?
going?
It's going very well. I'm actually rebranding. I'm no longer the
English
Grumpy Brit.
much good.
I'm the grumpy Canadian. No, but seriously, what's the difference between being sat next to someone and being on a Discord call? You know, like we play co-op games all the time, and I feel like this would allow more choice when it comes to co-op games. So why not? I'm trying to think of a game that jumps out that I want to try it with though. Like Overcooked is probably.
I like the idea of choice, and like for me, I bought Overcooked whilst I was at a LAN. And we played it and we were all physically there, and like atmospherically it is a different experience than being a Discord call. Like if you are physically there with your friends, like
100%.
there is advantages to being like local multiplayer.
You can punch each other when they beat you.
Yeah. Can't do that with Discord.
No.
Send small electric shocks through the Let's Play Together update. I lost Blair. Blair's just like, what?
She's gone. She's like, electric shocks, wait, what? I didn't sign up for this.
But yeah, the devs when they released Overcooked, the devs when they released Overcooked literally said like that they didn't release an online multiplayer deliberately. They were like, this is a game that is designed to be played with your friends on a couch. But for some people, well, they did that and then they went like, oh, Overcooked didn't sell brilliantly. Overcooked 2 has online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Strange.
I know. It's almost like being like actually forcing people to be in the same room doesn't sell many copies of games, but carry on.
I mean, so yeah, it's fun to be in the same room playing games with people, but sometimes you don't have that choice, and you still want to play games with people.
Options, always a good thing. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I'm up for it with options. I mean, I think devs could almost do a thing of like, look, we'll put in the online multiplayer, but this is better played local. The same way as like Man of Medan. It was like, this is a co-op game. You can play alone.
No. Man of Medan said, don't play alone. And we thought that meant it was scary, but it literally was like, it should have said, you should play this game in co-op because it's crap otherwise. But it didn't. It said, don't play alone. Ooh. Sorry, but that's what I mean. It's a really good game, by the way. I love Man of Medan.
It was great. It's like the online multiplayer is not the way this was intended to be played.
Yeah.
Like Man of Medan, it is clearly intended to be a co-op game. It plays fantastic as a co-op game. Every time I've seen a tweet of people being like, "Oh, I'm gonna play Man of Medan later," I'm like, "Play it co-op with someone. Even if it's online, you're not in the same room. You will have a better experience."
Yeah, 100%. Play that instead of Blair Witch because that was crap. Your game was crap. witchyb.
You did not like Blair Witch.
Leave me alone. I did the best I could. I took the camera in the woods. I made the thing myself. I even made Oliver into another dog. What more do you want? I did everything I could.
Disappointed by that game. I appreciate your effort, but anyone who's like, "What the hell is he talking about?" witchyb's name is Blair. This is the whole joke. This is the whole name. But yeah, sorry, continue, Elliott. I really wanted to sneak that in somewhere. I wanted to have a dig at.
I mean,
witchyb.
I knew you did.
Like, witchyb is the Blair Witch Project. Everybody's mind is blown.
Not gonna lie, like I figured it out so quickly when I met you.
Some people don't, and they're like, "Well, what does the B stand for?" And I'm like, "Blair," and they're like, "Witchy Blair, that's cute." And I'm like, "Yeah."
And you're like, "No, you're cute."
That's all.
You need to spend more time with Brits. We'll pick up on this stuff way quicker. It's fine.
Yeah. Are you saying we're more intelligent than Americans? That's a strong statement.
Are we?
Why not? We've angered China.
Nothing.
Why not let's anger America? Who else? Oh no, I think witchyb had to go at Russia too. Who else wants to go? Oh, last week we had to go at France.
Come at me, Putin.
Wow.
Dies the next day. Mysterious circumstances.
witchyb is no longer a streamer. She's disappeared. Yeah, why not? We're an international podcast now. We're starting World War III right on top of Brexit as well. God damn it!
Anyone watching from Russia, China, or America, put your death threats down in the comments. Remember to hit like.
Don't invite that.
Okay, here I go.
God damn it!
Right. British bitches.
Wow. So this has been a wonderful YouTube journey. I made it to 340 subscribers before we got the channel shut down. That was amazing. Couldn't even make it to 1,000. Couldn't even get any money from this. You know what I'm saying?
When I never get asked to be on here again.
I also love the way how you say axed. Every time you say it, I'm like an axe. You know.
That's how we also say fixin'. Like,
is that like a regional thing? Do people in your area say that?
I thought you meant fixing as in like I'm fixing it, which is that's fine.
Like I'm like instead of saying like I'm fixing to not even because I don't even think people say fixing to like I'm about to go to the bathroom. I'll be like I'm fixing to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Like fixing your hair?
Yeah, like I'm fixing my hair.
Okay. We don't really say
But
that in
a
England.
lot of it is, instead of saying like South Louisiana, instead of saying ER, I end stuff with like an A, like a 18-wheeler, a 4-wheeler.
I have no idea what you just said. That
18
was like
wheeler,
Greek.
like the big trucks.
An 18-wheeler is like a semi
Oh,
truck.
an 18-wheeler. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't even
okay.
call them 18 wheelers because we don't need to count wheels on stuff. It's fine. We just say, oh look, truck.
Yeah. In
I
England,
don't
they just all
count
have
the
4.
wheels. I just got told, oh, this thing, yeah, it's an 18-wheeler.
But then what if you see an 18 wheeler and it's only got 16 wheels and then everyone's going to look like an idiot?
It's true.
Well, who is sitting there counting the wheels while it's coming at you?
Somebody had to count it.
Why is it driving at you now? This is escalating.
Because America.
They saw you down in the wheels and they thought they were too
America,
short.
Legit though, you live in, and not to like dox you completely, but you live in like, I think possibly the area I want to visit the most in America.
New Orleans.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I could get on well there. I don't know why. Just from what I've seen on TV and movies, you know.
I said
It's
on the
good
stream the other day
food.
that I want to go like all the southern states and do all like basically the states where you get like good barbecue and food and stuff.
Should we do GGWP travels?
Yeah.
Oh, there
my
you
God.
go. If
Everybody,
y'all come-
everybody become a patron. Everybody that's watching this video, donate $10,000. We'll do GGWP travels. We'll go to America. We'll eat some shrimps and drink whiskey. I don't know. We'll do whatever you do in America. It'd be amazing.
If y'all
so I was
ever
like-
come to South Louisiana during like crawfish season or crab season, I will get my papa to boil y'all some.
I'm down for that. Like, I'm not gonna
I
lie.
didn't understand it, but it sounds good.
We're getting boiled crayfish, boiled
Yay.
crustaceans.
Oh
That's-
yeah, y'all say crayfish, some cray daddies.
We don't say craydats though.
Is it just like a big prawn?
Crawfish. The rest of the world, it is crawfish. Crawfish.
I have nothing.
Yeah,
I have nothing. We're just gonna hit dead air now. It's happening.
possibly. I don't even remember what we were
Somebody
talking
is
about.
gonna
We got
get heated about it somewhere in the
we
world.
got
when they
like
see this.
distracted by Americans and food. I think this is not the first time that this has happened. Games,
that's
video
true.
games. I like a video game. I played one once.
Video games.
Yeah.
I played a video
Yeah.
game. I play a lot of Stardew Valley, which is getting a new update soon.
Oh, what a segue!
yes.
Smooth.
Segue.
He's been wanting to talk about this the whole time. He's trying to slowly transition into a Stardew Valley streamer, but because he's just played all the Dark Souls games, he can't do it. So he's trying to play every single Dark Souls game ever so he can get it out of the way and be like, now I can fulfill my dreams
Yeah,
of full-time
if
Stardew Valley.
If I finish all the Dark Souls games, no one can be like, ha, well, you're not a real gamer. Why don't you just play Dark Souls? And I'll be like, finished them all. I'm fishing on Stardew now.
Strict.
It's way harder.
Forever and
The
ever and
only
ever.
reason you play Stardew is because you're out of other video games. Noted.
No, the
No,
only
he
reason I'm
loves it.
playing the only reason I'm
That's
playing other video games is to make it so I have an excuse to always play Stardew.
100%. 100%. I'm telling you,
It's-
he
it's
would
the other way
be.
around.
He would be 100% a full-time Stardew Valley streamer.
Oh wait, if I went full-time Stardew streamer, I'd be well happy. I'd start modding it. Like you play it vanilla, then you start modding, then you do this,
Oh,
then you
yeah.
do that.
So why
Right,
don't you
this
tell us
thing's
about
sweet.
this update that's coming?
Concerned Ape is the solo dev. He was working with Chucklefish. Chucklefish were doing the publishing of the game, and he has gone solo. So he's doing all of everything on his own now. I keep every week. I'm just like, Concerned Ape's the best game dev ever. He is working on his own on a game, and he's bringing out a new Stardew update. It's going to be 1.4. He recently announced the update, and he said it is going to be pretty huge, and it looks like it's going to be. One of the big complaints with people who've played Stardew for a long period of time is that once you get married, like you get married and then you have a kid after a bit, and then you have another kid after a bit. And effectively, all your family really do is sometimes they'll water plants. And if you talk to your wife every day, she gives you food.
It's too realistic.
But yeah, there
Wives
isn't really
do
a lot.
not actually give food. Confirmed.
Wives can give food.
I didn't.
Don't
I
you
did not
oppress?
give-
Don't you
So when
oppress
talk to
those
your wife,
wives?
and she'll just give you a full meal. She'll just pull it out of nowhere. That's how it works on Stardew.
That's not. Wait, is that not how it works in real life?
I just have this image of like a whoop, like you coming home and your wife like pulling a full pizza out of her pocket and being like, "I cooked."
Would he?
Yeah.
Like, whole pizza all smushed and nasty.
Still eat it.
No, it's not smushed nasty. It's still perfect. It's
Yeah,
all
just
fine.
Like-
unfolds it and it has no crease
Like
marks
out
in
of
it or
her
anything.
belly button, it just comes like.
Oh
a-
no, not of a belly button. That's gross. Yeah. No thanks.
No, don't want better.
So
You
yeah,
want
it's being
belly button
updated. What?
pizza, but
What?
you got
new
their own
features are we getting? Because
pineapple
last time
pizza?
it got like a big update. We got multiplayer. So what are we getting this time? And also,
So
I
the
heard
last
you
big
say
update was
pineapple on
multiplayer.
pizza.
Oh
Obviously,
no,
pineapple pizza.
don't do it. You made my chat angry enough last night.
That's what I live for.
You got called out. We were in
Making
middle
the
of a stream,
internet
just
angry.
like-
It's what I live for.
Wait.
Mid-stream, and Terry's just like, oh, I like pineapple on pizza, and I was like, why would you do this to me?
It didn't
No,
start with that.
it's
It was something
illegal.
else. It was something else. And then I was like, and also I like pineapple on pizza. I can't remember what the other thing was though.
I don't know. As far as I was aware, it came out of nowhere. I was focusing on game.
You're just ignoring me as usual. Don't lie.
What did you say?
Yeah. So Stardew update. What's happening?
Stardew.
What we're
So
getting?
basically, the biggest thing that they've said is it's going to add depth to the post-marriage life, but also basically said that it is going to touch on pretty much everything else. So apparently they're just going to update a whole load of stuff.
Good.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Stardew. I've played it quite a bit on the Switch. I played it with you and Taylor. I would be down to jump back into it if there's a big update.
So they've already said about an update where you can start. You have a fish farm on your farm, so you can farm fish eggs, and you can kind of do that kind of stuff. This is like it. From what I'm reading,
cool.
it looks like a lot of quality of life stuff. Like one of the things that they definitely said is going to be in there is when you pick up an item, you can see whether or not you need it in your community center without having to go.
Thank God for
I
that.
like
community
that.
center.
Yeah.
Well, when I first played it, you had to physically go to the community center just to check the bundles. At
Yeah.
least you can do it from the menu now. But
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
if you hover over an item, it will just be like, it'll be like, okay, does this go in the community center or not? So that is already a lot better.
I
than
feel
it's
like
been
if
so far.
Stardew Valley had come out like 10 years ago, like everyone doing like, sure, we'll just write it down. It's cool. But now, because it's the modern age and we're all so used to just getting everything at our fingertips, we're like, wait, why can't I instantly see what I need in my community center? What is this garbage?
Mate, the amount of time I spend, like, I have the Stardew wiki as like a bookmark on my browser. Like when I'm streaming it, it's just always in, like, it's just there's little
we
things
played
of
it,
like,
and I'd played it like very briefly before I played it with you and Taylor, and then we started playing it, and me and Taylor were like, I'm gonna get a pickaxe, and Taylor was like, I'm gonna water some flowers, and you were like, I've completed a bundle. We were like, what's a bundle? I don't know what that is.
yeah, I've started that game over a couple of times, and it's gotten to a point where like I'll be playing with people and they'll be like, oh, it's raining, so I'm not gonna have to like water plants. I might go to the mines or something. It's like, oh, I need to go to the beach between 9 and 6 so I can catch this fish. Then I need to hit a river between 3 and 6, and then I need to go to the lake in the evening because it's raining in spring, so I have to get these 3 fish for bundles for the community center. Everyone's just like, okay.
I just remember like I kept triggering you guys because I'd go mining and I'd forget what time it was, and then it'd be too late, and then I'd like pass out on the way home, and then I'd lose all the money. That happened more times than I'd like to admit as well.
The best bit
There
is
actually
how-
is a cheat you can do to not pass out. So
Wait,
when you're
what?
about to pass out, you open the menu and close it, and it gives you 10 more minutes. And you just keep doing that every time it goes to pass you out.
Mind blown.
But that doesn't work in multiplayer because the clock still runs in the menu. So if you're in single player as well,
only.
you can do like when you're fishing, you can cast your rod, open the quest menu, and then you'll hear the fishing noise, and then you close the menu and you reel in the fish. And it means no time passes when you're fishing.
Yeah.
Just
Like
infinite
there's
fish.
all sorts of weird exploits. It's fine.
quirks.
It's fine. But
Well,
no,
come
a lot
on,
of
it's
them-
one dev and like thousands of players.
No,
of
to be
course they're
fair, it's
finding
fine.
the-
It means a lot of single player people are just like, oh yeah, I can just utilize it to like maximize my day, and it doesn't work in multiplayer, so it's not like you end up like cheesing people or having to pause things and stuff like that.
Are we not
Mhm.
getting separate money? Is that already in the game, or is that coming
That
with this
is in the
update?
game already, so
Okay.
you can now separate your multiplayer pool. If you have an existing multiplayer game, you can go talk to Mayor Lewis, and he will split your existing money pool into how many people you have. Everyone will have their own money pool then, so it
old
stops the thing
Lewis.
of like multiplayer where you like, I'll run down the shop and be like, oh, we got enough money for me to buy a backpack, and then someone else is like, oh, we have no seeds. So
Yeah.
it kind of stops that stuff happening. But I don't know how
Nice.
the money split works with end of day. I don't know whether it just goes, oh yeah, you made like if say us three were playing. If it was like you made $3,000, here's 1,000 each. I don't know,
Yeah.
or
Or
it's
do you
just
all get
what I,
3,000?
or is it just the items you shipped then go to you?
Yeah.
Or
Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe
Um,
you should test that.
I haven't played multiplayer in ages.
Hint,
but-
hint. I feel
we
like
can play one
pay
day. I'm
more.
down. I'm down. For
I was
some
going to say, do you know what the really
multiplayer
bad thing is? Like, and anybody who watched last week is going to know all about this. Taylor has been like begging for us to play like Minecraft with her for ages, and I'm like, I'd rather play Stardew, even though Minecraft is objectively, in my opinion, a better game just because of how much you can do in it. I'm
Sorry,
like,
how much you can do? Have you played? You've only played Stardew up until like summer.
no, dude,
Get out of
I've got
here.
I've got it on my Switch. I've gone way ahead of that. I got like the maximum tools and everything. But yeah, so I'm kind of like, I feel really bad, but like I feel like Stardew is just so much easier to just pick up and go. Like Minecraft is such a faff to get going and started and blah.
One of the reasons I love Minecraft, one of the reasons that I love Stardew on the Switch is like it got even more pick up and go. Like
Yeah.
on the PC, you pretty much have to finish the day. On the Switch, you just hit standby,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
when you start back up again, it's like, oh, you're in the shop and it's Tuesday.
I've said it so
just
many
like-
times on the podcast, but like Switch is such a great console. I'm a big fan of the Switch.
It is a fantastic console.
Like games like Stardew Valley, perfect on the Switch. Spyro has just come out on the Switch. Games like Dead by Daylight, like lol. But like games like Spyro, brilliant on the Switch. You know, those kind of
The
games.
Final Fantasy games are really good on it. I have 9, and I've been playing through on that.
Yeah.
And it basically plays. I might be incorrect on this. I think it's a port of the Steam version because it's got the same like built-in cheats and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can like make it so that basically you can't die. You can max characters out. You can max up your AP stones and stuff.
Yeah.
All from the pause menu, which is exactly how the Steam version works.
I need to finish 9. I've never finished it. It's one of those games that just eludes me. I love 7, I love 8, and I love 10. And I really enjoyed 9.
I've never beat the last boss of 8. I have to admit it. I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy player. I've beaten 7 like a dozen times.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the end of 8 loads of times, and I always forget the last boss randomly picks you a party.
Yeah.
And like most Final Fantasy games, I will play through them just kind of going like, oh, here are my favorite characters.
Yeah.
This is my party. If you do that, you get to the last boss, and it's like, one of your members is level 12.
But then
And you're
also, if you level too much, she's way harder. So it's like you kind of want to like not level people as much as possible, but you want to evenly unlevel them.
Bosses scale in 8. It's
I mean, not to like go on a massive tangent. We said this before. I cannot wait for the 7 remake now. I'm so excited for it. I feel like even if it's not what we all hope and dream, like it's still a different iteration of an amazing game. So I'm so excited. I feel like this wasn't a topic I was going to plan on talking about today, but the PlayStation 5 now officially has a release date. It's going to be holiday 2020 or Christmas 2020 if you live in the UK. So it's really not that far away. It's a year away. And I'm starting to feel like, well, I feel like Final Fantasy is not that far off, but like, is that going to be like on PS5? Is Last of Us 2
7 remake is 100% going to be on the PS4 because it's coming out.
Yeah, but is it going to come out on
March.
PS5 as well? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't care.
Because the only way I'm going to buy a PS5 on launch is if it has The Last of Us 2 and Final Fantasy 7. If it doesn't have those games, I ain't buying it. Unless it has something amazing that nobody's expecting. But I said this last time, like, don't buy the PS5 on launch unless it has a stellar lineup. Because I guarantee it, within a year, there'll be a PS5 Pro and you'll have wasted your money. You'll get a better console for the same amount of money, and by then you'll have way more choice in games. So unless it comes out with a really good lineup, which, let's be honest, last generation or the last true generation, neither the Xbox nor the PlayStation came out with a decent lineup. So what was the point in buying it?
I didn't buy my PS4 till Horizon Zero Dawn came out, and I got a PlayStation, the Steelbook version of Horizon, a spare controller, and some PSN months for like £190.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or you could go for the PS4 like Pro, which is better, and you probably play the same amount as you would if you bought it on day one. Like, there is literally no reason anymore to buy a console on day one. Like, there is no reason. Like, I used to be, again,
unless you just have hella money and you want it, I suppose.
yeah, sure. If you can afford it, then great. But like, objectively, it's a bad decision now. And again, unless they come out with a really good launch lineup, but they didn't last time, they're not going to this time. I would be very surprised. So don't buy the PS5 on launch. Wait a year. Buy a PS5 Pro. Do the same with the Xbox, which segues me really nicely into my mini topic that I wanted to do. Since everybody's just talking about it randomly, and I don't know why. What should the next Xbox be called? Elliott, go.
Xbox 720, 2 full circles.
720. You think that's a strong
I don't know. What
opinion?
did we go from? We went from the Xbox, the original Xbox, to the Xbox One.
Yeah.
No,
Xbox 360.
360, then Xbox.
Oh yeah, it was 360 then One.
Yeah.
So the Xbox 2.
A lot of people are saying Xbox 2.
Xbox 2 Electric Boogaloo.
What do you think? What's your money on, Blair?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I think Xbox 180 squared.
180 squared. Interesting choice. I
Brings
think
it
it
back to
should
the
be the
360.
Xbox One 2 because it's gonna 1-2 punch
1-2.
your wallet when you buy it. That's my.
That's just gonna get read as Xbox 12.
You see, I've always been really good about like trading in stuff to get my console. So I don't think I've ever paid over $50 for a console.
Yeah. See, I used to be the same. I used to do the same thing. I used to trade in games all the time, but years later, I wish I hadn't. I wish I kept all my games.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like slowly collect all of my retro games up again, but it would have saved me a fortune in the long run if I didn't. But you live and learn. But
Trading
yeah,
in
again,
consoles is like a waste though. I traded in my Xbox 360 in all of my games, and I had a whole bunch.
yeah.
And I got more money for the games than I got for the console.
I
The
traded
console
in.
gave me like 30 quid for, but this
I
big
was
pile of games were
really
like
broke
140.
once, so I traded in my original copy of Skyrim. You know, the one that came with like the map and everything. So I traded in that, and I regret it massively.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
dumb idea. Stop that.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
man.
why would you
It's
do
just-
that?
Yeah. Well, I was broke at the time. I couldn't afford games, and there was a game came out that I really wanted. Like, what a turn of events if it had been like Alien Colonial Marines. It wasn't. It was something else. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so that's pretty much all of the main topics we've got for today. A final time now, because this is the last time we're all together before EGX. We're going to EGX. If you didn't know, I got clothes and everything. Should I like show off the
You
merch?
got clothes?
We got merch. Look at this shit. We got GGWP merch.
Wait, that's not merch. That's ours.
Well, yeah, it's not merch, but it's like, you know, it's like
We got merch, but it's
we've
not
got
for sale
bright
for
yellow
you
clothing,
peasants.
so Sammy can find us because she'll definitely get lost without it.
We're gonna put a stick on her with a flag at the end.
That's true. That's true. Just a picture of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, so we're going to EGX. We're going to be there the whole event. Well, I am. No, you're going to be there the whole event. You're going home on the Sunday night, and the event finishes on a Sunday. So we're both going to be there for the whole
event.
We're there for the whole event. We're staying in London. It's going to be me, Elliott, Sammy, JP, Turtle Mode. If you know any of these people, you should know Turtle. She's been on the podcast before.
Radar Man.
Wait.
Mr. Turtle.
Oh.
Is that this weekend, EGX?
No.
It's next Wednesday.
Yeah. It's Wednesday.
I was
Well,
gonna
no,
say,
it's
what are we
Thursday
with the
to
Jesus cult?
Sunday.
It's like 5 days away.
It's really not that long. And by the time this podcast comes out, which will probably be Sunday, it's like 3 days away. But yeah, so we're gonna be there. What's that shocked face for? Did I do time
It's
travel
so
again?
close.
Oh no. But yeah, so we're going to be doing lots of content. I'm going to do a playlist on the YouTube channel of all the EGX content. So if you want to find it, it will be there as soon as I upload a video to the playlist. But we've got lots of content coming up. We're going to do a live stream while we're there. We're going to do an episode of the podcast, which the podcast, I'm not sure who wants to take part of it yet, but there may be more than 4. We don't know yet. We'll see who we can get into the podcast. It might just be me and Elliott. Everyone else might be like, fuck you, I'm not doing a podcast. Possibly.
Go to the window on the Airbnb and just be like, does anyone want to be in a podcast?
Hey, you look like you want to be in a podcast guy. Come here, see? No, so we're going to do podcasts while we're there. We're going to do a live stream, at least one, and we're going to take the camera and do lots of sort of vlog videos. We've got some interviews that we're going to do. Hopefully, I say this, I would not be surprised if I get there and then like literally no devs want to do an interview with me, but I'm going to try and get some interviews and stuff like that. So you guys can, if you're not able to make EGX, which to be honest, most of you probably won't be able to, you might be able to see some of the games that are there without being there. Finger guns?
I can't fit. Look, I have a wonky finger. I can't finger gun properly.
Oh.
What?
Just points out to the side, the bullets just miss.
I broke my finger playing rugby years ago, and it just doesn't straighten.
It doesn't.
No, I physically I cannot force it straight. Like it's wonky.
He's got a kinky finger.
Ooh.
And not in a good way.
And I broke my nose a load too.
He just loves to
tired
tell you the
again.
fact that he was a rugby player. That's all it was. I played rugby in
Contact
high
sports.
school too, Elliot. It's not that special.
I am
okay?
so impressed, Elliot. Is that
I
what you wanted to
played
hear?
American football in university too.
Oh,
I'm
American
champion.
football's not impressive though. Like rugby's impressive. American football's not impressive.
To be fair, when I was a
What's
rugby player, I
wrong
was-
with football?
everywhere pads and a helmet is all he's gonna have. And honestly,
There's
I thought
flag football and two-hand touch. There's
Until
different
I-
versions of it.
until I played American football, I was like, oh yeah, but the pads and the helmets like protect you. They do not. Everyone just hits each other harder.
No,
Like-
you just die.
It's
It
more
is.
that the
I
rule
have
set
it
is
on.
just stupid. Like it's not even that it's like a wussy game. It's more of a fact of that it is just stupid. Like
It takes
you
I
spend
don't know
half
much
of the
football, so-
of the match, which is like a third because the match is split into quarters. I don't do maths. But you spend like a half of the match just standing around talking, and then
No, because none of that time counts. It's
Exactly,
an
it's
hour run
stupid.
time.
Think
what
about
are we
it.
talking about?
Think
Rugby or
about it.
football?
No,
American
so
football.
in American football, there's 4
Well, they
15-minute
have to have
quarters.
timeouts. It's strategic. It's strategic.
No, it's lazy. Think
there's
about it.
No,
If
you
think
don't
about it. If
understand.
that time
like a
counted,
3-hour
right?
game.
Imagine
Have
how
you
frantic
ever
that would
even
be.
like actually like went to one with somebody who understands it? Because I don't. I'm not good at explaining it. I was a mascot. I went to football games. Like I understand a touchdown is when they go there, but like somebody who can explain it, going with them and they get like hyped and it's just the crowd.
Let me explain something to you, right? We have football in England, the real football, right? And that game
Soccer.
is so simple. The game is so simple. You have 2 nets at either side. You kick a ball. If it goes in, you get a
I
point,
know what
right?
soccer is.
So easy. So how come then, right? You go into a pub, any pub in England, you've always got that one guy who just seems to think he knows way more about everybody else than football. He's like, oh, but the thing is, mate, if it was in my midfield, it'd be like well up there on a playback, and it'd have been. And I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. But like
They're
nobody else
always
in the pub
like
knows what
that.
he's talking about, so they all just nod and
There's
agree.
always gonna be
Because
somebody
they don't
who
want to
thinks-
be that one guy who's like, you don't know much about football because you're a dick. So everyone else is just like, yeah. That's the same thing in your scenario with American football. Like, you don't need to know. Just, it would be a way better sport if people just.
I don't
like,
know. I
didn't
think
stand
America
around
is just
talking.
very enthusiastic and dedicated
It's the
to whatever
democratic
we
America.
have.
That's what it is. Everyone's got to stand around and argue about it for 5 minutes before anybody
Yeah.
does anything. That's what it is.
There's going to be a cult for it and a cult against it in America.
at each other.
witchyb, you've brought out the rebellious side of both of us. Maybe it's either that or it's the whole like China talk. We're off the rails now. We go crazy. We say what we want now. We have freedom.
Communist China and Winnie the Pooh? Hell yeah.
We don't need roads where we're going.
We don't need no roads. There's no roads in Bandville. But yeah, I don't know how we got on this tangent. EGX, it's a thing. We're going to be there. If you think this is bad, wait until me and Elliott are in the same goddamn
I was
room.
going to say, us vlogging is going to be weird because the way we interact with each other is very different to how we podcast.
It's so true.
I am interested to see this.
Well, good. I hope everybody is interested to see it because we're going to be spending a lot of time doing it. I'm going to hopefully edit the videos while we're there. So some of them will be up while we are there, hopefully. But yeah, keep an eye out on the channel. Keep an eye out on all of that. And the next podcast, we will be at EGX. So I cannot wait. So we're coming up towards the end of the show. I don't know how, but it's been a shorter one this week. But Elliott, what have you got coming up this week on your channel before we go to EGX?
I was so ready for you to be like, what have you got coming up this week? Because I'm at EGX Grumpy.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
So I finished The Last of Us on Friday, which is today as we're filming. And on Monday,
do the DLC.
I'm doing the DLC.
Yes.
So yeah, the remastered version that I got with PS Plus comes with the DLC, so I'm going to be playing that. And then because I'm going to be away for the week, I'm going to do a Tuesday stream. Apparently the DLC is about 3 hours, so I might do the
it's not
DLC.
long. Well, it depends how
and
crap you
then-
are at the game, really. Like,
I mean, even the completionist run says 3 hours, so like it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do the DLC, and then we'll probably play some Stardew. And then Tuesday, I'm going to stream Stardew because we're going away, and I don't want to.
wait, do you play Stardew?
I've dabbled. But yeah, I don't want to start a new game right before EGX because that kind of sucks. So I'm going to do that. And then obviously we'll play games and do videos and stuff at EGX. And then I'm coming back Sunday. So there'll be another stream next Monday, but there's another podcast before then. So Last of Us 2 DLC. If you want to see me do the DLC, I know nothing about what happens. My whole Last of Us run.
You could
has been
say it's a blind run. But
I was blindsided with feelings.
It's a
In the
very
UK?
feely game. Honestly.
But yeah, so if you want to watch the DLC, twitch.tv/blindsideuk on Monday, we start at 1 o'clock British time, which is early morning for you Yanks. I don't know how you're gonna get by, but yeah,
Coffee,
Tuesday's
lots
always
of
the later
coffee.
one. Platt drops in the morning sometimes. She loves a morning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 12 o'clock in the afternoon over here, so
So if I start at 1, it would be 7 a.m. for you.
yeah, so I'll be sleeping. Well, During the week at 7 a.m., I'll be getting ready for work.
So if you want the perfect accompaniment for readying for work, you want to watch me.
Just listen to Elliott stream where he's like, all 5 minutes, and then you're
For
ready
fuck's
for the
sake,
day.
Joel, run!
Why is Elliott so shit? So,
I did
witchyb, where can people find you and what have you got coming up, if anything? Because you're away, aren't you? But where can people find you anyway?
Oh God, I'm busy. I got my dress fitting this week, and grades are due. I have no life. But you can always find me on Twitch TV/witchyb. I have a YouTube channel that is also under witchyb. And if you really want to talk to me, Twitter is the best way to go.
What kind of videos do you have on your
witchyb
YouTube
TV.
channel? I'm sure I'm sub to
I think I have Sims videos, maybe a Stardew one. Ooh, there you go, Elliott.
That's
But
one
I
extra sub.
am going to try to get better about streaming. So I may try to stream on. No, I can't Tuesday. Maybe Thursday.
Already she's like, I'm going to try and get better at stream. I'm going to stream this. Oh, no way, I can't. Never
I
mind.
can't
Ignore that
Tuesday.
schedule.
I can't Tuesday because we're going to eat out as like a very late birthday dinner for me with me and some of my friends. So
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
I-
I was
like
just
I
thinking
said,
about a schedule. I was
I
just
have
like,
no life.
so because now I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Before it was just like, I'm gonna stream. Nope, can't do then. Can't do then. Can't do then. I'm gonna stream right now, and then just.
I
am
had shied away
streaming on
from
the
streaming.
podcast.
It just wasn't working with our internet. So, but maybe it'll be
Yeah.
better now that Bad Rob's in school.
Maybe.
He's not hogging it all.
Hopefully.
Bandwidth.
There's nothing worse than trying to stream with like
Netflix.
technical issues or bad internet. It's the worst because it like every time you stop, you get out of like the rhythm, and then you end up having a bad stream. Or I do
Yeah.
anyway. It's like me with Dead by Daylight at the moment. Every time I stream Dead by Daylight, I have mouse problems, and it's starting to drive me freaking crazy. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, if you've found this podcast, you have already found my YouTube channel where I upload a weekly podcast. You're watching it. I also upload Dead by Daylight content. I upload Let's Plays and some random crap, which you're getting a lot of random crap coming up this next week, so enjoy that. I also stream as much as I can on Twitch. I used to do 3 days a week. I try and stream 3 days a week, but with my current work schedule, it's very difficult, so I stream when I can over on twitch.tv/TheGrumpyBrit. You can also find me at Instagram. Don't know why you would, but you can find me on Twitter at TheGrumpyBritTV and at Instagram, TheGrumpyBrit.tv. And everywhere else, I'm either the Grumpy Brit or the Grumpy Brit TV,
Is
depending
this
on
the
if the
first
Grumpy Brit was
podcast that
taken.
you've plugged to your Instagram?
Yeah, I was on
He
it the
wants
other
more
day.
people to go like their. He wants
The
to go
minute
like
you
other
said
people's
it, I was
photos.
like,
I
don't
want to
post
be
them.
an Instagram famous person, okay? Like, don't dash
You
my
want to be an
dreams.
Insta whore?
I want to be an Insta ho, yeah. I want to be a.
wants to-
I want to
he
be
wants
an
to be an
e-girl
ethot.
on the internet.
An
Yeah, thank you.
ethot?
I would like to be
Wait.
famous for posting pictures of myself in my underwear holding different objects. Thank you.
Do y'all know what a Visco girl is?
They
Or
wear
on-
scrunchies. I've seen the meme.
No.
So I wear scrunchies and stuff, and I went to the grocery store yesterday, and some kid went to me, and I was very offended.
Yeah, that,
I
that's
have
the sound
no
that
idea
Visco
what
girls
the
make.
hell you just said.
Go look
This
it up.
this is a lesson
Visco
for
girls.
Am I allowed to have this on YouTube, witchyb? Do I have
I
to
don't
edit this
care.
bit out?
No, it's fine.
Is it porn? That's what I'm
I
asking.
can. No, Visco
Okay,
girls
cool.
are not porn. They're
Okay,
like,
cool.
I'll save the turtles and oop and oop.
Yeah, they
Oh,
oop. They do
Okay.
oop a lot.
I'm definitely gonna research that later.
VSCO, Visco girls.
Okay, I will maybe check that out later. We'll see. I'll put save
Grumpy's
search
like
on.
never inviting witchyb again.
Oh no, we've had worse. Trust me. I'm trying to think of who, but we've had worse.
I looked up
Usually
Visco
me.
girl, and there is an Urban Dictionary definition, and it's amazing.
Read it.
Brilliant.
Typically, an 8th grade girl that was the love child of Snapchat and Tumblr. This species of little shit can be seen at your local Starbucks with a metal straw, a scrunchie, a signature hydro flask, and a big crater on the side of their head.
Oh, I understand. I understand now what you're
That's
talking
it.
about.
My little
Visco-
sister keeps telling me I'm a Visco girl, and I'm like, no.
Visco girls obtained their name from the god-awful social media application Visco, which is really just shit Instagram.
Shitstagram, some might say. Well, dear.
Visco
Well-
girls are extremely dangerous as their general
There's
idiocy
more.
is stored in glands in their mouth that is released as a lethal toxin.
Amazing. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to end the goddamn podcast. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have watched all the way through, should we do a different emoji this week? We did fire last week. Should we do a different one? So if you weren't here last week, if you're basically, this is so simple. I don't know why I'm explaining this, but if you've made it this far, post this emoji. We're going to pick it right now. Post this emoji.
Hong
so
Kong
we know.
flags.
No, the
What?
little
Hong
witch
Kong flags.
emoji.
No, that's not
The
do Hong
witch
Kong flags.
emoji.
There we go,
Yeah,
the
do
witch emoji.
The witch
Brilliant.
emoji for
Perfect.
Witchy B.
Amazing. If you've made it all the way to the end, post the witch emoji in the comments down below so we know that you watched it all the way to the end, and we know you're not one of those people that pretends to watch all the way to the end and doesn't. But that's fine. Post it. And if you could also, while you're here, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, because that tells YouTube that the video isn't shit. And if you could like subscribe if you haven't already, because that means that we could actually like continue to do this and not like die in a ditch. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
You didn't tell him you loved them this week.
No, I didn't. No love for them.
He doesn't love you anymore.
No, all my love was
Confirmed.
taken up. All my love was taken up by The Last of Us.
God damn it. Last of Us ruining lives. We'll see you next time.